Okay. I'm excited, Katie.
Okay. Why are you so excited?
I'm excited.
Last 3 weeks you came in here, you wasn't excited.
I know. This is a special week. Okay? You know why I'm excited?
Why?
We have a special guest. She has made me live like a woman. For 2 weeks. 2 times. She has made me cry multiple times. These are all facts, right, Katie?
Yeah. You're not really selling me well.
No, I'm selling you perfectly. Trust me.
Okay.
She has taught me mostly what I know about radio.
Thank you.
And she has helped me be the first rapper ever to make a song about breastfeeding.
She did that.
Right?
Yep.
Wow, what a resume I got going on with you right now. I'm starting to wonder why the hell you even asked me to come on the podcast.
Because I was so excited to get to talk to you outside of our normal work situation. If you are a Burt Show listener, she certainly needs no introduction. Kristin Klingshirn is In the Moment!
I am here. I have arrived. And I didn't come empty-handed.
No, of course
Oh,
you did.
no.
Why would
Absolutely
we
not.
ever have expected anything different?
I walked in with my wings, and
Yep.
I was like, did Bert bring food?
No, he did not.
Of course he didn't.
No, he did not. He brought himself.
Which, I mean, I guess is plenty because, it is Bert.
Katie said that anytime Bert walks in here and puts his feet on the table, she knows that we are about to have a good podcast.
That is true.
When the
That's so
feet
true.
come out,
Just
it
prop
is up.
With the feet, with the shoes are off and
Yes.
the feet are propped up, you're about to get deep.
Super deep.
Yes.
And you said something that was profound to me because he has a way
He does.
of bringing things out of you that you certainly had no desire to talk about.
Yep. That's what makes him the consummate host that he is. And he's also such an incredible interviewer. So everything I've learned when it comes to interviewing celebrities or anybody in general, I've learned from him. And just how he is able to create a bond with somebody in such a short period of time to where they
Absolutely.
trust him enough to just like spill their guts.
And then you walk away going, did I really just say
Oh,
all
the
of these
regrets.
things?
The regrets you have after you talk to that man. It's
Can't
like-
sleep at night.
Right?
I am excited to talk to you, KK. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Oh, I cannot wait.
I know.
Katie got real excited, and I'm like,
She's very excited.
Yeah.
yes.
Super excited. She has wanted you on this podcast for so long. And I've always told Katie, I'm like, yo, we're going to make this happen. But when you became a mom, I was like, oh, we in some trouble now.
No.
Like, I don't know how we going to get her on our schedule.
I became a mom, and I need to get the fuck up out of my house. That's why I'm here.
And here we are.
And now, here we are.
We've made it happen. I feel happy about something you just said, that you've never done a podcast before.
This is my first podcast. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Bert Show. We have now, because again, Bert being the smart businessman that he is, even though he doesn't tout that he knows anything about business, he saw that radio needed to diversify.
Yes, he
And
did.
got us all of our segments on a podcast. And so you can easily digestible Bert Show. So many plugs for the podcast right now. But as far as like being a guest on somebody else's podcast, this is the first. Like I've done some interviews with interns before and recorded some stuff like that. But as far as like being on somebody's podcast,
Truly pardon.
you're popping my podcast cherry.
Oh, it feels so special. Oh, it feels so good. This is amazing.
Don't tell my husband.
And some of the listeners, you may not know, but like what you hear us do on a daily basis, radio and podcasting, very similar for a lot of different reasons. But one of the things that are fun when you do quote unquote radio for a living is you get to let your hair down, for a lack of a better expression, when you're podcasting. So you might get a bit of a different edge, I guess, or something a little extra out of somebody when you feel like you do podcasting as opposed to radio. I guess it would be like a professional athlete playing in the NBA, and in podcasting, it's somewhat like playing at the rec center. When they really get to showcase what they got and have a little bit more fun. Like, does that make sense?
It makes total sense.
So I'm excited about this. Now, while we're
I'm excited, but I'm also nervous.
Why? You're nervous?
Oh,
Yes.
she should be.
As long as you've done this?
Yes.
Why?
Are you kidding me?
You're nervous, really?
Yes.
I would have never guessed that. No.
Yeah.
Why are you nervous?
Because one, I'm doing something I've never done before. So there's naturally going to be some nerves with that. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I love you. I love Katie. You make me feel very welcome and at home. And it has nothing to do with that. But it's because of the freedom that podcast gives you. With the parameters of radio, I still go on the air every day with a little bit of nerves. Like, I'm going to say something and it's going to go viral in the worst way, or I'm going to get my ass canceled. And so this is the same instance.
To this day.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's worse now than it was before.
Really?
Absolutely. Because before, now that our audience has expanded because of the podcast, and I mean, shit can go viral in a hot second.
Yeah.
And granted, it also burns out in a hot second. So you only have to deal with the pain of that for a brief period of time. But no, man. And with today's sensitivities, which I do appreciate, there's also that side of it where, man, you say the wrong thing.
It's going to go left.
Exactly. So
it's interesting. So to my In the Moment listeners who may not know who Kristin is, you are on the Bird Show with me. And how long have you been doing radio all in all?
20 years.
Wow.
This year, actually next month, April 3rd, marks 20 years I've been doing radio.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm really proud of that.
You should be.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's a huge accomplishment.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah,
I've
so-
been doing it 5 and I am done. I'm ready to go.
So in every, we've done some really cool things and I've been a part of some really cool things. And I think to be a woman that has not only survived but thrived in this industry for 20 years, I wear that with a badge of honor. Like, I take a lot of pride in that. And that's something that I am not typically a person that's gonna shout my
Accomplishments.
from the rooftop. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, it's like, no, we're gonna celebrate this because this is kind of a big deal.
That's awesome. And, I feel like sometimes we need that. Like, because you may not remember this per se. And I didn't even plan on going here first, but I told Katie, I took pride on this when Bert came last week, that the first time Bert came in here, I had like 2 pages of notes. I want to ask this question. I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted to have the most amazing interview. And then this time I was like, nah, I just want to talk.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do a no notes, like, let's just kick it and it goes where it goes. And it's funny you bring that up because I believe a lot of times in a lot of different situations where someone is a veteran, they have a lot of experience, they don't necessarily want to show any sign of weakness or transparency to someone who is coming behind them because they want to come off as perfect. And I think sometimes parents do that, with their children, and it'll make you feel really bad when you make mistakes. And I always appreciated the time that we were on the bus and you pulled me to the side and you said, I know this has been hard for you. And I remember my first year and it was hard for me too. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
That was the first time you made me cry while I was drunk. Did you know that? That was the first time.
Are we just going to relive all the moments that made you cry?
Yes, I don't just be running around here crying. Katie, did you know about that story?
No.
Yeah. Because your first year in radio and like your first time on a morning show, and you're just not used to all these opinions about you as a person and people making these rash judgments, and just they hear one segment and they've decided who you are as a person.
Yes.
And it just it's a mind fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first started, social media wasn't as prevalent, but now it's like, as soon as somebody hears something and they want to tell you how they feel about it, it's in your face. And it's a lot to take in. And you can say, like, I've definitely gotten a thicker skin over the years, but shit still hurts. I mean, we're human. Of course, now the good news is I get over it a lot quicker. Somebody can make a comment and it'll sting for a second, but it doesn't linger like it used to, and I don't ruminate like I used to. And I just think that comes with age.
I've always wondered, how are you able to be so peaceful? Like, during all the comments.
Do I seem peaceful?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Katie was like, yo, we're
Don't
going to
cut
talk
me
to
open, you're going to be shocked.
Katie said, what are we going to talk to KK about? I was like, I'm going to ask her to teach me how to love. Because how does she do it so well?
What am I gonna make? And I'm like, she's so classy. Can we even say shit?
All the time. I don't even want to curse when she's around. Like, I'm telling you.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. Get it out of your system.
Shit, fuck, damn. Are we crazy?
All right, good. Now that we got that out of our system, we're good to go. So peaceful, huh?
Yes.
Like peaceful when? Like, are you talking about certain like instances or just in general?
It seems like overall, right? You carry yourself with this class of things don't get to you. Like, I feel like you've, expressed, especially on the show.
personified.
Yes. You've expressed on the show.
I don't
yes,
think anybody has ever paid me that compliment. And I am like
they get
beyond
to you.
It is so true.
floored and grateful.
Exactly.
So true.
Like, sometimes you can tell when things get to you, right?
Yes.
But it's the way you handle it that is like, wow, that's another level of classy.
Oh, okay.
You know?
I think I'm starting to pick up what you're putting down. So I don't know where that originated. And this would get into like a deeper therapy sesh.
That's what we do here.
I know. And I'm bracing myself. I'm like, God, here we go. We're traveling down this road. I can feel it. It's literally like, actually what it feels like is I'm swimming and there's a current that's grabbed me and it's starting to pull me this way.
You're fighting it.
And I can't.
You're fighting. No, we going. We out of here.
So I think because of my upbringing and my household, I have learned to deal with certain situations with that grace, as far as when things happen and not flying off the handle, because I know sometimes it's out of the other person's control. And I know I'm being super vague here, but I'm trying to be respectful to somebody in my life. So I've learned how to walk on eggshells in my life. And while that was difficult, I think that's helped me become a person who, if somebody is rude to me, if somebody cuts me off, if, somebody has a violently opposing view to me, I can stop and take a step back and be like, I'm going to meet this person with kindness rather than with anger or resentment.
So it's interesting because with that, you have already touched on two of the things that I personally wanted to talk to you about the most, which I think both of these things have probably played a big part into how you do compose yourself in these situations, which are, one, I would love to know whatever you are willing to share about your upbringing, because I feel like you and I have never truly got to talk about that.
Yeah.
And I'd love to know, like, truly what it's like being a woman in radio and how you have fought to get from where you started to where you are now. Because I'm pretty sure both of those things played a major part in who you are today.
Oh, absolutely, they did. Okay, where are the drinks?
Wait, Katie, you better get lit. Let's do it.
I still got to go home and be a mom, but I feel like, man, this would be so much easier with a cocktail in hand right now.
There's mine. You want this one?
Okay, so let me go ahead and I believe that, yes, everything, like what you just asked me has led me to the person I am, which is ever evolving. I am not the same KK I was 5 years ago. I am not the same KK I was 10 years ago. I am not the same KK when I started in radio 20 years ago. Thank God. And I want people to start normalizing. People can grow. People can evolve. That you don't always have to be... just because of something that you said 10 years ago or something you did 10 years ago. Now, granted, I'm speaking, when we're talking about things you said or did, there are some things that are just so egregious that will go on your permanent record.
Right.
Okay, so we're taking those, I'm taking the extremes out. And I think that's another issue with society. Everybody wants to go to the extreme. All right, so let's bring it back towards the middle a little bit. We all make mistakes. We all say stupid shit. We all say things we regret. And again, I'm not talking about that egregious stuff.
Right.
I'm talking about like common mistakes that you can say and that you can do. And that you can forgive somebody and people can learn from those mistakes and also from education and be given new information and be like, oh, well, I used to think this, but now I know this or I've experienced this and now I think this way. And people don't have to sit there and wag a finger in your face being like, no, you said this and this is what you believe. And it's like, no, man, like that's what, yeah, I said that, but this is XYZ 1, 2, 3 has happened since then. And now I'm in this place. So
it's so hard to do radio today.
I know, it really honestly is.
Even listening to you, like the way you are delivering this is like, I hope this is an example of how you have to absolutely be so clear
right?
in everything you say.
You feel like you have to finesse every single thing you say. And so as far as with the with trying to come at people with kindness and empathy and compassion. And I know that's not always the most entertaining because radio, we want to jump to the dramatic, we want to jump to the extremes, and you want that bold emotion. I think because I've done this so long, and I think because I've done radio, morning radio for 17 years now, I've heard so many stories and of all types of people, of all types of backgrounds, of all types of trauma. And I know also that there are two sides to every story. So when somebody comes to us and they're just completely shitting on another person, well, that other person has a perspective. And so I've always kept that in mind. And I think that's why I've been able to have a little more leniency, I guess one could say, when talking to listeners or talking to whomever and trying to see both sides. Now, seeing both sides doesn't always make the best radio because then you get accused of being a fence sitter and you're neutral and, but I wish society was more like that and would just take a beat and take a breath. You'll notice when I speak, I don't speak like really fluidly. I take beats and I take stops because words have power and words have meaning. And I'm very cognitive. No, cognitive?
That's it.
Okay. I'm very aware of that. And so I actually just then had my husband in my head saying, and he's like, I don't think that word means what you think.
No, he's in my head too. Because you told me, right?
All the time.
I've been thinking about Bart a lot. When I say something, I go Google it because I'm like, Bart is going to be on me. Right? Yes.
So I really want to be aware of what I'm saying because I want to be fair, but I also want to share my true opinion. I don't want to sugarcoat something, even though that may sound like what it seems. But I do as a whole, I wish society would do a little more of that instead of just like, this is what you are, and that is it. No, we are onions. We are layers.
KK, I think you can speak to being a woman in radio just as well as or better than anyone.
I appreciate that. I have been doing it for a long time. So with tenure comes, and with history in this industry comes a lot of lessons learned for sure. It's being in the entertainment industry is hard enough. Any kind of medium, whether it's radio or television, you name it. But being a woman in radio has definitely tested my heart and tested my mind and tested my spirit. I've been pleasantly surprised at times. I've been deeply disappointed at times. It hasn't been easy. And I know we're doing a podcast and I'm here to talk. It can be really hard to articulate sometimes. But you know it when you feel it. And you can also, know it when you see it. And the men are held to, or rather, the women are held to a different standard than men in this industry. And that also comes from the listeners. And you can ask Cassie this because, she was monitoring social media at the time. And she brought this up and I'm like, God, yeah, we did. There's been a shift and it's gotten better for sure. But there for a while, it was like the women hating club on our Facebook page.
Really?
Like Bert could do no wrong. But anytime one of the women on the show said something, we were like burned at the stake. And if he had said it, he would have got a pass. Now, I can't say that definitively, but I honestly know in my heart that is the case. And when you do build a relationship with somebody, like, for instance, my best friend that I've known since 3rd grade can say some shit to me and I'll let it slide. Somebody I just meet off the street says something like that, says the same thing to me, we're done.
Whole different thing.
It's a whole, and so I think when you start to build a relationship with your audience and they really get to know you, they are going to allow you to be who you are. And I don't want to say you're going to get away with saying more stuff, but there is more grace in some of the things that you say or opinions you might have, and they don't come at you. They're like, all right, so you think that way, I disagree, but I still love you. One of those things.
Right.
Whereas before,
I've had to learn that one.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of my rules that I tell anybody starting out, like on a show, and you don't want to come out like blazing. It's like you got to give the people a reason to love you before you give them a reason to hate you.
I remember you telling me that.
So you do have to endear, and this is not like putting on a facade. It's just like you tread lightly when you're meeting new people.
Yep.
And that's what you're doing. Like, you don't walk into a cocktail party full of strangers and all of a sudden start, screaming dick and ball jokes. Like,
let me tell you about my dick and ball.
Right?
Yeah.
That would be off-putting.
It would be a little weird.
And I don't think people would want to hang out with you anymore.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about your balls. I'm cool.
Be like, put them away. So it's the same way on radio. Like, they got to get to know you. And it's hard because you're constantly sharing stuff because that's our jobs is to bring content to the table. So, one of my biggest number one advice, you have to give them a reason to love you before that you can give them a reason to hate you. And again, I want to reiterate, it's not that you're hiding pieces of yourself or you're pretending to be somebody different. You're waiting and you're slowly slowly sharing information rather than just bombard. It would be like a love bomb. We just talked about love bombing the other day.
Yep.
You don't want to information bomb your audience with a bunch of stuff about you and every single opinion you have.
Yep.
So it's
gradual.
It's very gradual.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
With the fan base that you have, I've always been shocked that you've never had a podcast, because I've always felt like you can talk to anyone about anything at any time.
That's courtesy of Pops.
I genuinely feel that way, and I've always admired that. I'm like, wow. Like, 'cause I had to learn to be as social as I am today, and I'm still working on it. But I've always felt like you've had that, and it's always shocked me that you never had a podcast.
Yeah, and I mean, I've definitely thought about it over the years, and I've had a couple ideas here and there, and I've just kind of sat on them. As far as me pursuing a podcast, and I'm not saying it's off the table. Like, there's always a possibility. For me and how I work, I actually said this on the show today. I'm an all or nothing person, and that's just like that's just what works for me. Other people out there who can multitask and have like all these other things going, I commend you. I've never been good at that. So for me, the Burt Show gets all of me. I give everything up to the Burt Show. So until I can see a point where there's a little more freedom, and then I had a kid and I was like, well, the hell, there's no way I'm having a podcast right now. But even before that, it was always like, no, I'm going to give everything I possibly have to this show. And so that's just what I've decided to do.
That makes sense, because I kind of always assumed why you didn't have a podcast, and I was close, because I just felt like, yeah, you give so much to the Burt Show that afterwards you're like, yeah, I ain't talking to nobody else.
Yeah,
I'm done with this shit. I'm going home.
But I love these, like what you guys have done within the Moment, and what has Cassie's doing with her podcast, and our new co-host Abby, her podcast. Like, I sit back. Don't get me wrong. I'm jealous.
No, you are?
I'm jealous.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm envious. Yeah.
I would have never guessed that.
No. Yeah, I am envious because I sit back and I look and I'm like, man, I'd like to have something like that, but I'm tired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to go home and work on this bit instead. And that, I want to make sure people don't misconstrue this. This is me getting in my head. Oh, look, watch Kickin's getting in her head.
I know.
This is not to say that you guys don't give your all to the show, because you do. But you also have this other gear where you can do this as well. And I don't have that gear.
I get it.
I don't have that gear.
Trust me, KK, it's good. I'm tired as hell. I'm so fucking tired. I don't even have a kid. I'm so fucking tired.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
You just wait, sir. You just wait.
Oh, I know.
Wait. Whoa.
Oh, we gotta tell her.
Whoa.
Is it now? Is it now, Katie? Go ahead.
what
Yeah,
is-
do the honors.
No. One thing you're not gonna sit here and do, because I just caught this. You're not gonna sit here and lie to Kristin
I've never lied to KK.
off the record.
Well,
Well,
I did.
on the record, but off the record, but
Uh-huh.
kind of on.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
Technically.
Oh, God.
And what we recently found out,
Yeah.
and he hasn't brought this to the big show yet.
You had a kid?
I'm a father.
Same thing I said. But I was like, of a puppy? And he said no.
It's not a puppy.
You want to tell her a story?
I'm a whole father, KK. I can't believe Katie did this.
Are you
No,
fucking
now you want me to tell her.
Yep.
No, you brought this shit to the table.
No.
You tell her.
No. She
No,
has to
you
go through.
tell
She
her.
has to go through the same emotions I went through.
No.
No.
Okay.
Maurice,
What?
you tell Kristin.
I didn't want to
now.
tell Mama KK about this shit, man.
Are you a dad?
Now.
I might be.
You might be?
If I am, I'm a deadbeat.
No! No, what the hell is going on right now?
KK. No.
I am like on a roller coaster of emotions right now.
She's not going to love me anymore.
Yes, she
What
is.
happened?
No.
What happened? What happened?
All right. Okay, fine.
No, what happened?
Well, all right. So it all started when we got back from BBA. Because
This
this
year?
is Katie's fault. Oh, this just happened.
Oh my god.
This was
oh
like
my god.
this was like 2 episodes ago.
What the fuck?
I know. I know. I didn't plan on bringing this up,
Okay.
but we're here now.
Yeah,
so,
we are.
all right, we got back from BBA.
Uh-huh.
I developed this special bond with Landon.
You did?
Katie started pretty much putting it into the universe that, like, you are ready to be a father.
Okay.
Because you're damn near there right now.
It's not really her call, but okay.
That's what I said, right?
But I really meant it for like Landon. I was like, that you can be that light for Landon. I wasn't
okay.
like go have a kid.
Okay.
The universe doesn't necessarily listen to every word.
Oh, yeah.
Here's context clues like a lot of my listeners on In a Moment, and they run with it, right? So out of nowhere, I'm sitting there. It's like a Sunday night, and I get a text message from a random number that says, "Dad, where are you? You said you were going to get some milk, and you'd be right back."
What the fuck? What is going on?
That's what.
But
My heart is beating out of my chest. You're going to have to
This is Katie's fault.
speed this up.
No, now you take it from here, Katie, since you did this to KK. I didn't do it. You did this.
so it was a New York number.
Okay.
We looked up the number
Yeah.
and I looked up the people because Mo was like, who is this? So I went to Facebook, looked up some people. I was like, do you recognize any of these people? It was a woman. I can't remember the name. And then we looked at her friends and he recognized the dude from the friends.
I did. One of the guys. I recognized
So I
him.
was like, if you know him, then you have to know this woman who texted you this. But we really don't know. Somebody's fucking with him.
So
but-
to this day, I might or might not be a deadbeat father. No, this is Katie's fault, KK.
I hate
would
both
have
of
never
you.
done
Welcome
this
to
to
the
you.
podcast.
I hate both
I
of
didn't
you.
bring you here for this.
My heart dropped.
I know. I saw it on your face.
But no, he
And
did it
that's-
to me though. He did it to me when we started. He did this. I was like, "You shitting me
I
right now."
wanted to tease the listeners, not KK. Why would you do that to her? That wasn't for her.
When you told me the text, I'm like, somebody is like so yanking your chains so
I know.
freaking hard.
But
Who does that?
Right?
Exactly.
So in my mind, immediately I was like, oh, and I got rid of it. But then when it was time for me and Katie to part on the spot, I was like, oh, no, this is content.
Oh my God.
So I ran with it, and literally until this moment, people are on our Instagram saying congratulations. They think I'm a new dad.
I almost cried. 'cause
I know.
I was so excited for you.
You should not. It's Katie's fault.
I'm sorry.
Why'd you do that?
You did it to me, and I just felt like. I'm sorry. Oh no, she's giving me a look. I'm
I
so
know.
sorry.
I know.
What I'm trying to do is remember your middle name, but it escaped me.
Antonia.
Katie! Antonia Ledbetter Birch!
Yes.
Don't do that to Mama KK.
Or will ya? Wait, oh yeah. No, because you want to tell KK shit.
Or will
Let's
ya?
tell her that one. Where did I get or will ya from, Katie?
So a couple of episodes ago,
Uh-huh.
we talked about Kurt Franklin, you know who Kurt Franklin is? Yeah. Okay. So he posted a video talking about how you should bring back traditional names and all this stuff, like old school names. And so I told Mo that my original name was not going to be Katie. My mother was going to name me after my great, great, great grandmother.
Great, great, great?
Yeah, 3 greats. And her name was Aurelia.
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 Yeah.
No, I won't.
Aurelia.
You didn't know that one. So you got to add that in Katie's name.
Aurelia. Oh my God, Aurelia. We could have been Kunigunda and Aurelia.
Kunigunda and Aurelia. Well, I'm coming to that concert.
That is a fire podcast if I ever heard one.
That is, though.
Actually, no, it does make for a better concert. Out there with our skinny mics.
Yes.
Welcome everybody to the show. And our kitten heels on.
Oh my God.
Aurelia.
KK, I'm not ready to be a father.
No.
I'm glad that wasn't true.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready.
No,
what has it been
you'll
like
never
for
be
you?
ready.
I know.
You're never going to be ready.
I always wondered what that journey was like for you. I mean, sitting right next to you, watching it, and how I don't know if you manifested it, but you spoke very positively.
I wanted it real bad.
And you really wanted it, and you fought for it, and to see the universe give you exactly what you fought and spoke for. I mean,
No, I think the universe was like, sorry, we killed your dad. Here's a baby.
Oh my God. You know what? You know what? We got the last one wrong. This is the least we could do. Right? No, right? Right? You gotta have a sense of humor about these things.
Here's your refund. You do. Now,
right?
KK a couple years, like KK 3 years ago, would not have been able to make that joke. KK today can.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So as far as the Jimmy saga goes, and I was so elated to be pregnant. I hated not being able to be in studio with you guys.
You cared about the fucking studio at that time?
Well, not this, but I meant just like being able to experience it in public because I was pregnant during a pandemic.
Yes,
and so it was
true.
easy to hide from you guys, but I didn't have like the typical pregnancy experience. However, that didn't matter because I was pregnant.
Yes.
And that was obviously hands down the most important thing. That's like a hindsight thing. Like looking back, it was like, oh man, like it would have been cool to have a big baby shower, or it would have been cool to like to sport the bump out and about. But hey, that part wasn't in the cards. That is the like superficial aspect of it.
True.
So the fact that we got blessed with Jimmy, and I don't use the B word a lot because I think the B word gets overused. And the B word has always hit me wrong because when somebody says they're blessed, it's like they got bestowed something that wasn't worthy of somebody else.
At least 500,000 listeners thought you were talking about bitch.
No.
Just now. I guarantee it. I'm so confused. I'm like, oh, bitch doesn't make sense in this moment. Why would she be afraid to say that?
Blessed.
Yeah.
Not a fan of the blessed word. I'll say bitch all day. But, that other one, not so much.
Yes.
And that's just like my own like mental hang up. I got a lot of mental hang ups. But yeah, so that journey alone, I mean, talk about like transforming a person from the inside out and like learning so much about myself and so much about my husband. And that first year of having Jimmy was really, really rough on us. But I didn't feel like I could share any of it because I fought so hard for this. And there's so many other people going through IVF and infertility that don't get that positive pregnancy test. So there for a while, it's like, I can't bitch about anything because, we're so fortunate to have been able to experience this and to have a successful pregnancy. But then I realized that's not sustainable and that's not mentally healthy. Like moms should be able to be real about the trials and tribulations of motherhood and parenting. And I love that kid with every ounce of my being.
It shows.
He brings so much joy to my soul. And at the same time, it is fucking hard.
I can imagine.
And I only have the one. So, like, I bow down to Cassie, who's got like 2 little ones. And it's not to say it's not worth it. And then some people want to throw it in your face, be like, well, you chose this life, so you're not allowed to, like, bitch about it. I'm like, no, man. Like, yes, I chose this life, but also we need to normalize instead of like fantasize this, because I think more people need to know that, yes, it's wonderful and it's beautiful and it's rewarding, and you experience all these emotions that you never could have imagined. But it's hard.
They say anything worth having is worth fighting for, right?
And that's like the perspective we have. And that's, old KK used to be so worried about, did I just talk about myself in third person? Oh, good God, who am I? Was that third person or first person or second person?
Well, I don't.
No,
Okay.
KK.
What person is it?
She's saying her name, so that's third
That's-
person.
Third, okay.
Yeah, third. That's
Okay.
third.
I was like, first, second, third. Anyway.
Yep.
Old me would have gotten so worried about what people thought about me throwing a big birthday party for my kid's second birthday.
Really?
Oh, yes. I would have been like, I would have been so worried that they're like, oh, I am an elitist, or I just know all the negatives. When people look at somebody who goes over the top or overboard, especially for their kids, like, I'm spoiled, like we're raising a spoiled brat, blah, 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 whatever. Like that people would judge me.
Oh, look
because
at the shit people complain about.
I know. But in my, like, old me would be really concerned about that. New KK, there was a twinge of that, but then I would stomp it and I'm like, no, I'm owning this. Like, I love doing this. I want to do this. We fought hard for this baby. And we're going to celebrate with our friends and family who prayed alongside with us that this happened. And I have no regrets.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So I think with age and with experiences, you're able to get on that other side of not giving a shit what people think about you.
Do you still give a shit what people think about you today?
Yeah, I do, but not nearly as bad as I used to. I think I would be lying to myself and lying to others if it's like, I don't care about any nasty comments. And that's there's a reason why I don't go to our Facebook page. I do not go to the Burt
you taught
shows.
me that. I don't go. I've not been there in a long time.
Don't you dare.
Yeah, I would never. I would never.
It's a cesspool of negativity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing. And you asked me where I get my peace from and stuff like that. It's because I've made a conscious effort to eliminate as much negativity and toxicity in my life as humanly possible. I mean, you can't get rid of all of it. But I've done a pretty damn good job of surrounding myself with people, and to get to the point in my life where, like, these are the people who feed my soul. These are the people who make my heart happy, and everything else can kick rocks.
That's awesome. All right, here's questions I've always wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Number one.
Yes.
You can play some fucking spades. Katie. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
In my entire life, I have never met a white woman who can play spades like you.
I love spades.
You can get busy. When you told me you could really play, I was like, I didn't heard that before. Then I start seeing you slamming cards on the table. I was like, oh, it's up.
Oh, my favorite was we were playing a game and somebody thought that they had the hand, that they were gonna rake the book, or rack the book, and I had my juicy trump card, and I was just waiting. And that person was over there just getting all puffed up, and I was like, bam, in your face.
You can play.
Give me that book. Thank you.
You reading books? You go. Where you get that from?
Okay.
Yeah. Katie, where'd you get that from?
Because I really wanted to know.
Okay. So the story goes. I used to be a server back in the day, right?
Okay.
And we refer to those as the dark years only because we did a lot of illegal things. But we had a lot of fun, all right?
Yep.
So for those short years, we were doing stuff and having fun, staying up late. Like when I say staying up, like staying up till the sun came up. Like you would literally wake up at 3 p.m., you would get ready, you go in, do your shift, get off at 11 or midnight. We all party and hang out with each other till the sun came up, and then we go back to bed and do it all over again, right? So my girlfriend, one of the servers, and we all, like, literally all the servers just hung out with each other all the time, and whoever was dating anybody. So if I remember correctly, who taught me spades, it was Squirrel. So Squirrel was dating Tiffany.
That was his name.
His name was Squirrel.
Squirrel was black, was it, Squirrel?
Yes, he was.
You know he was black. His damn way he was black. You ever met a white squirrel? When you see the white squirrel? Yes.
So I would, Tiff was dating Squirrel, so we would go over to her apartment and we would all drink and hang out and play spades. And that's how I got good at spades.
That's how you learned it?
Mm-hmm,
Wow, okay.
Because, all the white girls I hung out with dated black guys.
So, you never been down with the swirl love?
That's one of my biggest regrets.
What?
Not hooking, yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
Never?
So I flirted with the idea and have, had some makeout sessions and stuff like that, but never dated a black guy. And I kind of regret not doing so.
Was there anything that stopped you? It just never happened.
It just never happened. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Katie, don't look that disappointed. There's cameras in here. You know Bartman will look at these cameras. Will you stop? Fix your face.
No.
I'm just shocked that you said you regret it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I do. Because I felt like I missed out on a caliber of man that I just didn't give an opportunity to for whatever reason.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
All right, so all I really wanted to genuinely tell you in closing, and I don't want to get too deep, but I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up because it's genuine to my heart. So it's ironic because this morning, of all mornings, this happened to me. Because, well, first off, you know how I am by my family.
Mm-hmm.
And I was raised by women. That is just what it is. My mom, both my grandmothers, my aunts, that's near and dear to my heart. And I think as a man, you just kind of pay attention to a lot of different things when you constantly have women around you that maybe most men who have not experienced that don't. Perfect example. Of everything you could have brought into the studio to drink from, you bring that cup.
I did it on purpose.
See, the attention to detail.
Always. Because I recognize that cup too. I'm like, I know where that cup came from.
It's a top tier cup.
Well, thank you.
I use it all the time. But I had an option between this and another. And of course I grabbed this one because you gave it to me.
I appreciate that. Just that small gesture of me getting you that cup, Kentucky Blue, to welcome you into being a mama. Even the gift I got for birthday this year. Like, I always now think to myself, well, what would KK do? She was in it, right? Like,
that's so
honestly,
true.
I didn't know how to give a gift before. Like, I had no idea. So I started paying attention to these things. And it's funny because my grandmother, who is still living, hi, Grandma, I'll never forget the time when she started to really love the show. Like, she started to listen. Like, she listens every day now. She a P1.
I love it.
But at that time, she started listening, and she was like, I really love the show, Reese. I said, you do, Grandma? She said, yeah. I said, well, who's your favorite? She said, Kristin. And I was like, did she think I meant excluding me? Because what the hell is going on here, Grandma?
You mean, you're like, besides me.
You must have thought I meant like not counting me, right? But she always felt something in you that was genuine. It was authentic. It just rang true to her, and it always has, and it still does to this day. And there was something in me, that true story. I went to Katie once, and I was like, what do I really want to ask Kristin? Like, if I could ask her anything. And I started to think to myself, and I was like, I'm going to ask her if she's ever heard of Musiq Soulchild. You ever heard of Musiq Soulchild?
I haven't.
So Musiq Soulchild is an artist who, he has a lot of really good songs. Love, Half Crazy.
If You Leave.
If you heard some of his music, you probably would. But he has one song in particular that's called Teach Me How to Love. And I told Katie jokingly, like, I'm going to ask her to teach me how to love. Because I'm a damn rock, man. I don't know how to exude that. And it started to make sense to me, in all honesty, why you and I would have talks, and especially when I've been drinking, you would always have the words somehow that I'd just be fucking crying, man. I don't even know why I'm crying. The next thing I know, they just pouring. And I realized that this morning, I woke up and I just had a different feeling about the day. I don't know why. And I started playing music. And it started to play some of the music that my grandmother, who passed away, used to love. And the next thing I know, I'm brushing my hair. I'm crying again. I'm fucking crying at the mirror.
Oh, that's the best place to cry, man. I tell you, like in the bathroom, in the mirror, looking at yourself, watching the trails of sadness roll down your face.
Just roll. And normally I would go away from the mirror because I don't want to look at myself do this.
Yeah.
I just brush it. Hey, fuck it. It's coming, man. It's coming.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about my day because that's what you do in the morning, right? I'm thinking about, okay, I'm doing this. I got to talk to KK, all right, here. And as they coming down, I'm thinking to myself, is there a correlation here? And it hit me. My grandmother, God bless her soul, she just had a spirit about her. It wasn't words. It wasn't exactly what she said. It wasn't exactly what she did. All those things counted, but it was just a feeling.
It's energy.
It's an energy. It's a vibe that I couldn't put into words if I tried. But I just always felt like in a world where there's just so much fucking evil and hate and jealousy that every once in a blue, I feel like you meet someone. You meet a woman whose energy makes you feel like, regardless, everything's going to be okay.
Yep.
And I truly believe that the reason I cried this morning is because 9 times out of 10, I go into toxic masculinity mode, and it ain't no time for tears. Get over it and keep it pushing. But every once in a while, 1 out of 10, I just wish I could really talk to my grandmother. And I think that's why I cried. And as much as I used to run from that, I realize now that I do believe that my grandmother will help me be in situations more often now that she's not here, where I'm around someone who know they're not her, but they can at least give me a piece of what she used to give me. And when I come across someone who makes me feel that in one way or another, I believe that I should stop and say, thank you. And I genuinely believe that you exude that energy.
You're going to make me cry.
I just think that's special and it's important. And I don't know if I ever got to tell you that. So I wanted to tell you now.
No, I really appreciate that.
Genuinely.
That's I mean, one of the greatest compliments you could ever give me, to even be compared to your grandmother, knowing how much she meant to you. So thank you very much for that.
Especially in an industry where there are not a lot of views. Like at all. I mean, everything feels like a competition. Everything feels like underhanded. Everything feels
dirty,
chaotic and dirty almost. So it's just a breath of fresh air to be able to come in here and just figure it out and really navigate through this whole radio thing with you. And I'm genuinely grateful for you and Bert. And if I had to learn from anybody, I'm grateful that it was the two of you. Genuinely. Thank you for all that you've taught me and for the times you've taken time out of your life when you may not have known, but I was ready to get this shit up. And I appreciate your kindness and just taking the time out to say, like, Mo, I've been there. It's going to get better. Hang in there. It meant a lot to me.
But look what a beautiful testimony you have now that you've been tested and that you can share. And it's been an honor and it's been a pleasure to help guide you and to watch you grow and to now flourish and to really connect with others and to help people. And that was ever so present on this past Bert's Big Adventure with Landon. Like, that was just one of the most beautiful things that I ever saw happen, which is why I was so drawn to you at when we were there on our family day. And like, I really want to tell him this because, you know, I felt it in my soul. So whether it was your grandma passing it down to me to pass it on down, you know, pass it to you, because I believe in that kind of stuff.
Me too.
It's something that you needed to hear because it was true.
Thank you, KK.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
Always.
And thank you for joining me.
Yeah,
seriously, thank you for joining us. Katie is lit.
Great.
This is the part where I let it go. I am done. If you have anything you'd like to ask, KK, you have anything you'd like to ask, y'all let me know.
Shamar Moore's chestnut.
There it is. Katie always making.
Wait, I couldn't understand what you said.
I know.
I said something. Two fine men can't come out her mouth clearly. She didn't get Shamar Chestnut. Katie, there's two different black men. What are we doing here?
Shamar Chestnut? What's happening? What is happening?
Shamar Moore or Morris Chestnut is what she was trying to say. But her nose
I was like, what the fuck did she just say?
What did you ask Bert last week? Megan Thee Stallion or who?
Carisha.
Yeah, so I guess this is Katie's
AKA
thing.
Young Miami.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so Shamar Moore.
You know,
Yes,
you know who that
Shamar
is?
I do.
Moore.
Okay.
Or Morris Chestnuts.
No, give me the chestnuts.
Hey! That was
I
too
really
easy.
had no idea what you said.
Jesus, Katie. I asked you to ask one question. Shamar, do techno. That's what you made Kristin bring chicken for?
I'm recovering from surgery.
Okay, fine.
Oh, shit. Oh. All right, so when are we doing this again?
Oh, whenever.
Yes.
Whenever. And don't let it be like the cooking show. We did 1 and 2. We never did it again.
Dude, the cooking show. It was such a great idea. It was just a lot of work.
It was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work. And I blew up your toilet, man. I blew up. I don't know what hit me. I
don't
was
even know.
so embarrassed. I was in there for the longest time, and I was like, I got it out of my system, and like your air was busted, so we were like, I'm in the bathroom sweating, and then we were cooking, and you got sweat dripping, and I was just like, yeah, we're never doing this again.
My ear literally broke that day, too. I was like, of course, when Kristen's coming over, y'all going to embarrass me like this.
Oh, it was boiling. And we got the
man.
stove going, and we're cooking all this stuff. And I mean, we're filming it, and Mo just has sweat dripping down his face. And I'm like, well, we don't need to add salt.
Yeah.
So.
I would love to do it again. And when I actually thought about it, I was like, we got to bring that back. But that was when Jimmy came. I said, well, yeah. That's going to get pushed to the back. But
like
no,
everything.
Let's do it again soon.
I would love to.
All right, this was great. Thank y'all for joining us.
Thanks
it was
for having
KK
me.
on In the Moment. It is lit.
Whoop.
Next week, bitches.
I'm in the moment. Stay in the moment. Yeah, hey.